right.
I'll put it.
Well, nice to see everyone. I hope you guys had a great holiday. Here we are again with our weekly Toastmasters meeting on this wonderful Monday. I just want to thank everyone for coming once again at 4:30. Everyone seemed to make it on time, but let's get started. So can I get someone to read the mission statement at the bottom left corner of the screen?
We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you so much, Tangela. Well, now I will pass it off to Slate so he can continue to call to order.
Thank you, Noah, for opening up the meeting. Just as Noah said, I hope you guys had a great 4th of July weekend. A lot of fireworks. People love fireworks so much. I heard them on July 3rd and July 5th too. It's a little strange. Just kept that celebration going. But I hope everyone's having a great summer and ready for another meeting. We have one speaker today, Tricia, and our table topic session, as well as our evaluation. You can see from our agenda, provided by our new Toastmaster of the day, Justin, who'll be leading the meeting. And I think I'm ready to get started, see how this meeting goes. Hope everyone enjoys it. I'll now pass the stage off to Justin. Justin, you can take it away and start the meeting.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you and welcome, fellow Toastmasters. As Slate said, we have one speech today. We have the table topics with a theme of travel, which is exciting, and we ran by Tori, and then we'll have our evaluation. So remember, we'll be not voting for the speech today since we only have one for best evaluator, but we will be voting for table topics. So pay attention to that part, and we will send that information to your votes to Noah. So we'll talk about that more. We have, of course, our 3 reporters of the day. So we'll start out with the timer today, which is Tangela. Tangela, do you want to tell us about your role today?
Okay, I guess my role is just making sure that everyone is within their time frames and make sure the allotted time is correct. I'm not sure. I'm just writing down times. I'm learning.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Tangela's a first-time timer. That's a cool expression. So she will be helping us out today with that. Thank you so much, Tangela. And we have our grammarian today. Courtney Scott has graciously agreed to fill that role for us. Can you explain that role for us today?
Yeah, so today I'm going to be the grammarian. So I will be taking note of any great uses of grammar or any poor uses of grammar. And then I will also be taking count of how many times people correctly use the word.
Thank you so much. And the word of the... Oh, I'm sorry, my internet broke. I thought you stopped. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good.
Well, sorry, my connection's shaky. It's storming. Okay, so yeah, so that's Courtney. Thank you so much for that. And the word of the day, which I'll see hopefully on the agenda here, is capricious. It's an adjective, and given sudden and unaccountable changes of mood and behavior. That is your definition. I wish you the best of luck with this word. It's going to be fun. And let's go to our counter today, which is President Slate Nation. So Slate, you want to explain what you're doing today?
Thank you, Justin. Today I'll be the all counter, and the all counter will count all the filler words used throughout the meeting. This includes ums, ahs, you knows, unnecessary ands, and I will try and keep track of everyone's individual use of those. We don't want to use these because they only detract from the speech and they don't add anything of value. We just want to reduce their usage. And I'll give my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Justin.
Right. Thank you so much for that explanation, Slate. So keep that in mind, be on your toes. All right, so we're going to get into the first part of the meeting, which is the speech. So we're scrolling down here. We have our first speaker today, and our only speaker, who is Tricia Perez. And so she will be giving a speech titled Plan to Action. It's a level 3 speech on her visionary communication pathways. I'm very excited to see what she has to say to us and what she's going to show us today in her vision and all that good stuff. So welcome everyone to the stage, Tricia Perez.
Thank you, Justin, for that introduction. Certainly a plan to action is good for, I would say, most things that you decide to do, whether that's from sending a thank you card or even when you go to the barbershop and asking for a haircut. I would say in those situations, the clearer you are, the more easier and the more concise your message is, then the easier it is for you to convey what you'd like to convey to the other person or to the other party. This project is actually first inspired by my brother over this past week. He had to send some handwritten thank you notes. I know, very old school, but it was for thank you for some family friends sending him some things as he was recently confirmed. And so he was asking my mom and myself as well, what do I say in a thank you card? And this got me thinking into what it means to communicate with others, depending on a situation, whether it's informal or whether it's a formal occasion. And so with this project, I found it really great in that it gave a detailed outline on what it means to give what it means to plan a communication plan. And for my instance, it is for the Society of Business Intelligence. So I'm actually an officer for the organization on campus. And essentially what we do with our 4 to 6 meetings every semester is that we have guest speakers come in and talk about a specific business intelligence tool. So whether that's Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, Click, many more tools. We bring in those speakers to talk about those tools and help students gain that real world experience before they graduate. And so my position within Society of Business Intelligence, or SBI for short, is the Vice President of External Affairs, which essentially is a fancy title for saying I need to go and reach out to other people who would be interested in giving these kinds of presentations. Certainly when I read about it, it's challenging in that there are so many people out there and the possibilities endless as to who you could reach out. And so that's the first aspect of my communication plan that I decided to set apart. Who would I communicate? Well, thinking that SBI is within Terry, the business school, and within UGA, the university that we all attend, I decided it would be easiest to reach out to UGA alumni so that when I first make that initial connection, at least there's that similarity of, oh, okay, we both graduated from UGA. And so a simple way of looking through and kind of filtering through the millions of possibilities is through LinkedIn. If you go through, I believe it's to your People tab page, you can filter by university, you can filter by area, you can filter by their job title or whatever they decide to include in their bio. And so that helps narrow the field very considerably. And so I'm now a running list of about 20 to 25 people. So I've got the who down. Now next is what will I communicate to these people? So the end goal is to have people to come in, but maybe taking a less direct approach. If you think about sometimes in your mail or when you receive the random calls from people trying to sell something to you, automatically what comes to mind is like, why are you calling me? What purposes there is? I don't even know you. And so the same could possibly be interpreted if I were to just go in with a very long message explaining of our needs with the dates here, there, and there. And so that's where specifically tailoring what my message is was my second step. Now within LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to connect with people. And this is a great feature. It allows you to send a note if you'd like, or just simply connect with them. And so what I decided to do was, with the list of 20 or so people on my list, send them a quick connection as well as a quick note. The problem with having the notes straight through LinkedIn, though, is that it's limited on 300 characters. So if I'm trying to introduce myself to them, explaining who SBI is, what we're looking for, I easily ran out of characters to fully give my entire message. And this is where I had to take my draft message and can bring it down a little bit more so that it could fit in that narrow character limit. So essentially, I redrafted my message into doing a quick introduction to myself as a student at UGA with the Business Intelligence Student Organization, and if they'd let, and also explain to them that there's a possible opportunity for us to bring value not only to students at UGA but to the speaker, and making it a mutual beneficial exchange for the two of us. And with that method, I was able to get a few connections here and there, and so that's where I first gained some success in gaining those leads that could hopefully develop into possible speakers coming in. So this comes into the second stage of the plan, where I'm deciding what other communication mediums should I use. Yes, we initiated the conversation on LinkedIn, but is it the best tool to further communicate and flesh out those details if they're interested? And so after they hopefully and successfully connected with me, and that's where I say, thanks for connecting with me. I would be more than happy to continue this correspondence over LinkedIn, email, or phone at your convenience. Please let me know. And so just giving them the options, being courteous of their time, will hopefully enable me to reach them and make it easier to facilitate that relationship between me representing SBI and them as a potential speaker. So I have these different stages in getting people to come in and explaining our situation, what we hope we could bring to them as a student organization, and what they can bring to us. And so after this exchange is made, this comes into how do I evaluate my efforts so that I'm being successful? Well, one of the metrics that I'm using for myself personally is the timeline. I was given the task to search for people in the beginning of the summer, and I'm still continuing to do so. But my timeline is before August hits, so that once the school year comes and we start to begin in that mid-August date, we already have a set of speakers and we know what to expect, and we can frame our different marketing and how we're going to reach out to other students and inform them that we have our meetings coming up. So, beginning of August is my timeline. That's one of the ways to evaluate whether I am successful in this endeavor. Another way that I am evaluating myself is how often am I connecting with this person? Is it a once a week kind of correspondence? Has it taken 2 weeks to even get a response from them, right? Like considering with that the deadline before August hits, Certainly if it's taking a little bit of time, then I need to adjust my strategy and be flexible within my communication plan. So what does this mean? Why am I sharing this experience with you? And what can you take away from my experience with developing this communication plan? Well, I have some practical tips in my experience, just from not only trying to reach out to people through LinkedIn for this project, but even when I write the holiday thank you cards for my family to our other family friends, or when I'm writing a quick email to a professor. So I just have some 3 quick tips for you all today. And the first tip is to draft in a separate page. So whether it's for an email or for a text message, what I like to do is just open up the Notes app and make a draft. Particularly with text, because I tend to make it like a very long message, especially if it's talking something about logistics. So what I'll do is I'll draft the message in the Notes app, look at it, maybe take a 5-minute break, look at it again, and bring it down so that it's not inundated, you could say, or filled with so much fluff. And that leads into my second tip, making sure that it's a concise message. If it's filled, when you look at your message and you see it's filled with the same phrases that are popping up again, or there's a particular transition phrase that you're using multiple times, that can be a red flag that what you're trying to say isn't concise, that you're just repeating yourself over and in the end wasting the time of the other person who is reading your message. So certainly making a draft helps you get that second eye. Perhaps if it's a really, really important email for an application or a scholarship application, having that second set of eye to look at your communication, particularly with written, since you are unable to, yes, you can read the tone of the message, but certainly it's different than having that face-to-face interaction where you can like see the nonverbals, whether that person is being engaged or not. And finally, the third practical tip, this is more so if you know what's going on in your schedule and you know, okay, I need to reach out, particularly in this case where I have 20 people or so, and I'm still continuing to build that list, that I have a lot of people I need to reach out to. There are some message communication tools. I know Outlook has it sometimes where you can go ahead and draft your email, have it set to the person that message is intended for, and then you can set a timer, or it's kind of like a clock feature, so that you're telling Outlook, for example, okay, send this message at perhaps 6:30 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning. And so one reason why I really like this tool is because there are also certain times of days and certain days of the weeks where your message perhaps could be more successful in reaching the eyes of the person you're trying to reach. So going back to my example, what I'm doing right now with reaching out for potential contacts, I typically set my Monday and Tuesday as those dedicated days to send out, whether it's those first LinkedIn connections, or perhaps looking up their work email online and sending a more longer email to them to their personal emails. Typically, I'll send those types of communication Monday and Tuesday. So that way, when hopefully they read it throughout the day, and since it's only still the beginning of the week, I can still carry on that conversation through the rest of the week. One of the difficulties trying to start that conversation on a Thursday or a Friday is that a person could read it, mentally like remember it, but not think anything too much about it. Then the weekend passes by, Monday passes by, Tuesday next, and the next thing you know, it's now been a full week that you haven't heard from that person. So I love setting that timer so that I can go ahead, use the weekend, draft it, send the timer to send like my mass emails, or even just waking up personally myself and sending those messages early in the morning so that you have an entire day, or rather the other person has the entire day to go ahead and hopefully read that email in their inbox. So those are just some practical tips. I'm still continuing this project and reaching out to people. But one final thing I do want to leave you all with is the power of being patient and being persistent in your communications with others, particularly if it's something that you're trying to ask for someone, especially giving them, the other person, an advance notice. So by reaching out to people ahead of time rather than very close to the deadline where you want something from them, that helps being respectful of their time and help them plan their schedules. Recently, I had to use a chat feature of a support because I was working on a website for a project and I had to make a copy of the site, and it was a lot of like different technical things that I had to do, and I'm not really familiar with websites and how it all works. So it had been over 2 weeks time that I consistently reached out to support, like, okay, I finished this first step, I'm on to this step, what do I do here? How can I move forward so that I can eventually finish this? And so this person was just about to send me a ticket up to their higher ups yet again to fix this problem and get the issue resolved. By being patient and in my chat communications with them, by showing like using exclamation points or giving like a smiley face, or like to keep the tone of my message lighthearted. Because at the same time, yes, the person on the other side of the support is a professional and part of the customer service, but in any interaction, you never know when someone might act capriciously and maybe just ignore your efforts completely, and that definitely sets you back on what you're trying to accomplish, whatever that communication goal may be. So definitely being kind and being patient goes a long way, and I hope you all continue to be successful in your communication endeavors, whether it be written or public speaking in person. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that speech, Tricia. Definitely like the early morning, or the early in the week and early morning contacting. I never thought about that, and that makes total sense because I think I've done that to other people. I've just forgotten about it over the weekend. So I can definitely, that's what I really took away, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much. And apologize everyone for the screen share that was at the beginning of the speech. I forgot that blocked the video. So my bad. I'm glad that didn't last long and it was fixed. So my apologies for that. Okay, well, that is the end of our speech section for the day. So now we're going to move into the second section with table topics. The table topics today is run by Tori. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the last name, but Tori has the theme of travel for us. So Tori, over to you.